B&G Foods, GameStop activist, founder of StockMarketMentor.com. Dan Fitzpatrick is here to tell us about the three stocks he saw on TV and how and when to buy them. So, Dan, let's talk B&G Foods last night. Last night on Mad Money, Jim Cramer sat down with President and CEO B&G Foods, David Wenner. Now, this stock has been up 202% since Cramer first got behind it in October 2010. How much upside potential does it still have?
You know, I think B&G actually has a lot of upside potential here's the thing, Brittany, this has been consolidating for 3 quarters. I mean, it's really been moving sideways. I thought Jim was right on in his analysis of it from a fundamental standpoint. I could see B&G once it breaks out above the recent high, which just happened the other day. That's, I would say, $34. Once it breaks out above there, I mean, I could see B&G going up to 60 up in the next, I'd say, 18 months, maybe 2 years. So it's a stock for the patient trader. Not, I don't see it making a big, huge move. But they announce earnings in July, like mid-July. So if somebody's really, really bullish on that stock, what they might want to do is take a partial position. I don't believe in just piling in a stock before earnings. I think it's just too risky. But maybe take 30% of what you might normally take. And then if the stock moves up after earnings and has that breakout, hey, you know, you're involved, then you can add more. If the stock pulls back, you're happy because you didn't take as much stock as you want, but you believe in the fundamental story. So then you go ahead and buy the rest of the stock on weakness. But right now, it just looks, it's pretty far extended.
Now, Cramer also mentioned GameStop, up 46% for the quarter. He said he'd be a buyer on weakness. Would you?
Yes, I would. I really like GameStop. I mean, if you look if you look at the fundamentals over the last few years, they've absolutely stunk up the joint. You know, I've seen some GameStop stores in my area, and they went from having a lot of games down to almost nothing. In fact, one of them closed a couple of years ago. But they're really coming back, and so the story is really good. It's a really, really good story. But here's the thing, and by the way, the PE on this stock is 11, the forward-looking PE. That's actually pretty cheap. So the thing is, over 36% of the float is short, and I think short sellers are kind of scrambling to cover, and I think that's been a lot of the reason for the recent run-up. Technically, this is another one that's pretty far extended. It's really extended above the key moving averages, so you got to be careful about that. But here's the thing. This is a stock, if you zoom out to the weekly chart, and maybe you'll be able to show this to viewers. If you look at the weekly chart, this stock has been forming a base for 3 years. That's a pretty long base. That's a pretty wide base. And so once GameStop really starts moving, I think this is another stock that has the capacity to go a lot higher, but kind of like B&G Foods, it's extended, it's up at the top of the range. I would definitely buy it on weakness, but if the stock continues to go up, it's because you've got a short squeeze. I think you take some there too. And I'm not being wishy-washy. I'm just saying from a fundamental standpoint, the stock works. From a technical standpoint, it's extended, but because the stock works, you buy it on weakness. From a technical standpoint, if it breaks out, you got to buy this stock before it gets away from you.
According to Cramer, activist is also a buy on weakness. What's a good level?
Good level on activist, I would say, is like 115. The stock's really, it is again extended. So many stocks, because of the way the market's been trading up until the last few weeks, are really deeply extended and they're pulling back. On this one, Cramer says, once again, you buy it on weakness. The stock is up 30% above the 200-day moving average, not as extended as it was in May, and it really hasn't pulled back that much. But if you can get the stock, it's trading at about 120 now. If you could get it, say, $5 or $6 cheaper, I think that's going to work as well. So all three of these stocks that Jim Cramer talked about, I really like. It's just a question of levels, but activists, you definitely buy it on weakness. And I think we're probably going to get more weakness too. The stock's kind of trending down.
Thanks, Dan Fitzpatrick, for showing us how to buy the 3 stocks he saw on TV. For The Street, I'm Brittany Umar in New York.